Hey, kia ora, Helen Brahms here coming to you from Rossville in Georgia. Hope you're all having a super fantastic sparkling start to your day. Today we are back with your challenges. Yes, we are back. So your mindset challenge for today is a burning desire. What is your burning desire? What is your obsession? So think of it this way. Let's see. So Winston Churchill once said that success is walking from failure to failure with no loss of enthusiasm. So that burning desire, you will always keep the passion and the enthusiasm going for you. In the book Think and Grow Rich, there is a great passage in there where they have a whole chapter that talks about having your burning desire. And one of the stories they talk about is Columbus when he came to, was it America or South America, where he had them burn the boats. And he basically said to them, he says, "You see the boats are going up in smoke. That means we cannot leave these shores alive unless we win. We now have no choice. We win or we perish." So that's what a burning desire does. It burns you up so much that it's either do or die. There is no middle ground. You're either going to do it or you're not. There is no middle ground. So create that burning desire. What is the one thing in you that creates that burning desire for you to get up and go, and keep that in your mind? Keep it foreground for when you move forward. Anything you do has to be related around that burning desire. And that's a great way for success as well, because success is built around the passion and the enthusiasm that you have for whatever it is you're doing. So when you're in the mindset of a burning desire, you are do or die. That's it. No middle ground. So either you win or you don't. There's no second place, no third place, no nothing. It is win or lose. There is no in between. So create that burning desire. What is it that you want? What is that burning desire for you? And go out and create it. For your business, it's face the struggles. Yes, business is all about facing the struggles today. There was I'm trying to remember how this is said. Vuba Shah, I think I said, I'm not sure if I said that correctly or not. He once said, whenever you see a successful person, you only see the public glories, never the private sacrifices to reach them. So today, think about your successes. What struggles have you had to face? Think of people who inspire you. What struggles did they go through? And yesterday we were talking, I think it was yesterday. Hang on, go back. Yes, yesterday we're talking about the different podcasts and the videos and stuff that inspire you. What struggles are those people that you followed? And if you go back to onto Amazon Prime, where they have the David Bernstein peer-to-peer conversations, that interviews, they have the Bloomberg risk takers and game changers. In those, they talk about the struggles that were faced that we didn't know about. All we saw was that person when they had reached that final thing. Like think of the Olympics are coming up next year. Yeah, it was meant to be this year and they've put it off till next year. Think of the Olympics coming up. Think of all the struggles those athletes have had to go through just to be able to get to the Olympics. So when they finally stand on that podium, and to me, anybody who gets to the Olympics is a winner anyway, because of what they've had to go through to get there. They are now facing the best of the best in the world, or they could be the best of the best. And it's whoever is the best on competition day is the one that wins. But what have they gone through? What struggles have they gone through? You know, you've got athletes who have had torn ligaments, that have had broken limbs, that have had to have reconstructive surgery on shoulders and knees and all of this sort of stuff going on. They've had days where they've been feeling like the worst of the worst, and they've had to pull themselves out of that depression or out of that state of mind and get them back into that winning state of mind. Their equipment has failed on them, and they've had to go out and get new equipment. They were in the middle of a race and something happened. You know, look at all of the people at the Olympics. Go back through time, and if you look at the different races that were run where people fell over or tripped, and there went their dreams. In a split second, their dreams were now gone. But they got up and they carried on. They didn't just sit. Some of them did sit there, but there was some that, you know, some athlete, there was one where a New Zealand runner stopped and helped another runner get back up, and together they walked over the finish line. You see athletes, so just think of the struggles that they go through just to get to the games, to get the Olympic Games, whether it's Winter Olympics, whether it's the Summer Olympics, whatever it is, to get to World Championships. Think of the struggles that they've had to go through to get there. There is months and months and months of training going into the Olympics and stuff, but think of the years of training that they have had leading up to those hard months of training but that they have to put in, the intense training they now have to put in because they're going to the Olympics or they're going to a world champion. You know, they've had years of training. So look at the struggles, go back, read some of the, read biographies, listen to videos, watch documentaries on athletes, on people in business, people that inspire you in business. Go back and have a look at their story. They weren't always the CEO in that office. They weren't always the owner of the company. They started somewhere. Some people started in there. I was talking with a guy yesterday, and we were talking about John Britton, who was a New Zealander who built the Britain Superbike. And if you haven't heard the story of the Superbike, you've got to go check it out. It's an incredible story. He built it from scratch in his garage, and his bike went out there and blitzed the Ducatis and the BMWs and the Yamahas and all of that at half throttle. Think about that. He's out there on practice run. He's blitzing past these people at half throttle. And the only piece that failed on them was a piece they did not make themselves. Everything else on the bike ran like clockwork, except for that one piece that they didn't build themselves. You know, but what were the struggles that he went through to get to that? Unfortunately, you know, he passed from cancer at like age, I think it was either 45 or 50, somewhere around there, very young. But he left behind a great legacy. So go look at some of these successful people. Where did they start? Like I said, they haven't always been the CEO of a company. They've come from somewhere. What struggles did they face in their life to get to where they are? Great book to read is The Pursuit of Happiness by Chris Gardner. You know, here was this young guy. He was married with young children and stuff. He lost everything, and he's living homeless with a newborn. And he goes out and becomes one of the top investment broker guys, whatever they are, on Wall Street. You know, the struggles he had to face. The movie, The Pursuit of Happiness with Will Smith, shows you about this much of his story. It's like a chapter in the book, or maybe 2 chapters. You got to read the whole story to get the whole picture, not just the movie is just one small portion of his story. And in the book, in real life, he actually had it he was homeless with a baby, not a 7-year-old as he is in the movie. So it's very interesting to actually read his story and go and read through that to where he went, where he came from, how he built that desire in him to then go out and be the success that he became. There's just so many stories. I mean, if remember back a couple of weeks ago, we were talking about, you know, at the age of 30, Harrison Ford was a carpenter. Now look at him. You know, Indiana Jones, Han Solo, you know, look at all the roles that he's now played. And he was 30, at age 30, he was a carpenter. You know, what was it? Grandma Moses was 76 when she started painting. I mean, you know, age doesn't define us, and neither does our background. Our background helps us to become the great people that we have within us. So face the struggles. Go read the stories of the struggles that people have gone through. Something somewhere is going to click with you. Another great example, J.K. Rowling. Look at her. She was a single mom. Look at her now. You know, look at her her beginnings and stuff. There is just story after story after story. Those people that we see there, when we see them in public, you know, for the first time, or we're hearing about them constantly in the news or whatever because of some great thing they've done, what we don't know is the struggles that they have faced behind. Everybody's faces struggles along the way. And most of you know my story, having to go through a husband with cancer for 9 years, almost 10 years, and then being a widow at the age of 50. And having to redefine myself, rediscover myself. There's a lot of struggles going on. This is a lot of work. This is 53 years of work here. So go out there, face your struggles that you have. Find that little bit of inspiration. It could be just something that somebody says about a struggle that they face that will click with you, and it's sort of like, oh. I've had many aha moments over the past few years, I can tell you. There's been a lot of aha moments, being a cancer caregiver for a loved one, going through all of that struggle, going through the struggles of my husband passing from cancer, to then having to redefine myself, to now I'm living full-time in an RV. I'm living a dream right now. This is something we had always talked about doing, and now I'm doing it, and I'm loving every minute of it. But there's been a lot of struggles along the way. There are still struggles we face. So what are some of the struggles that you're facing that are holding you back, and how can you break through those struggles to go on to be the great person you are meant to be? So go read those business stories, read the struggles, read where people came from, because somewhere somebody is going to say something in their biography or their autobiography that is going to click with you and help you get through that struggle. So your mindset is that burning desire. Find that burning desire. Find that passion, that light that fire within you. What is keeping you going? Then your then your business activity is face the struggles. Go find the struggles that people have gone through that will help you go through, that will help you get through any struggles you're facing. And for the fun one, I'm calling it Textile Thursday. So most of the time we have scraps of material. Well, in my house, I have scraps of material and craft supplies and all of that. You know, different fabrics, different things like pipe cleaners and different craft supplies and stuff. Go create something. That's it. It's Textile Thursday. So get some textile. There was a place in Baltimore that we took the kids to one year, and it was like an offcuts. It was like carpet samples and other squares of carpets, and the squares of carpets made great little hot pads for on the table and stuff. But we went to this place, and there was all these different supplies, and like the cones. They had the cones from the center of the thread that they would use on sewing machine, on the big machines in the factories and stuff that would have the thread on them. And there were all of these. There was just oodles and oodles and oodles of all of these. Most people would call it trash, but they put them in the store, and you could go buy all this stuff, and it was really, really cheap, and the kids had fun creating stuff with them. I mean, we picked up these carpet squares. These, it was just squares cut out of carpet, and there was like squares of vinyl tiles and stuff like that. But we got the carpet squares, and we would use them on the table for hot plates. They were great for hot plates. But the kids had a blast. We took them there, and this was years ago. This is way years ago. I mean, the oldest one's now 36. So, a lot of years ago. But we took them to this place, and they had a blast going through and picking out stuff. And then we went back home, and they got to create whatever they wanted to out of this stuff. It was all stuff from factories where they get things in, like I said, the big reels of thread that the cotton thread comes on, and then you get the spools at the end of that. There were cardboard. There were thick cardboard boxes from whatever manufacturer. There were these offcuts of carpet. There was, what else was there? There was balls of twine and just so many different things, like polystyrene balls. A lot of stuff had come from factories where it was whatever they had used. This was the centerpiece, the core, and they now had them in the store, and they were just selling them off, and it was really, really cheap stuff. I think we spent a total of like $5 or $6. And the kids got stuff, Brad and I got stuff, and we all went home and had a blast creating things. So find those little offcuts of things. Find the toilet rolls, the paper roll holder, the tubes in the middle. Go create things with those. Find some offcuts of fabric and just go create stuff. So it's Textile Thursday today. Go just have fun and create things. Find some glue and have a blast. So that's it from me. So your mindset, burning desire, business is face the struggles, and fun is Textile Thursday. Have a super fantastic sparkling day, and we will catch you guys later. He konera.